What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. Hey, Jason, big fan of the show. Keep up the spectacular work. My friends and I have constantly bickered about Jokic's placement on the all-time lists as of today and where he would be in comparison to some of the all-time greats. The player we argue the most about is Kevin Durant. I personally believe KD is a top 15 to 20 player, but with Jokic being unlikely to truly surpass that entire tier. However, my friends disagree. How much weight does the difficulty of a championship run, the team you have, and the era have in all-time lists when talking about the talents like KD and Jokic? All that stuff I think plays a certain role. It's also, think about what you're trying to convince. Convincing me of something is going to be different of convincing you of something. That's when we talk about the court of public opinion, it's kind of like a smorgasbord of different philosophies, and people are going to interpret things differently. It's no different than like everyone watches the exact same film that everyone else watches, and like a lot of people think Giannis is the second best player in the world. A lot of people think Shea is the second best player in the world. It's because they value different things. They interpret information differently. Now, one of the things that I would talk about is you could put together a stretch of games this year where Jokic played and be like, oh my God, this guy's one of the worst defensive players in the history of the world. You could pick up a stretch of games from Kevin Durant or Steph or LeBron this year and be like, oh man, completely washed, no chance. But now Steph looks like the bona fide head of the snake on a real championship contender. LeBron, with the exception of the brief stretch coming back from his groin injury, like before he got hurt, LeBron was playing at a top 5 level on a serious team. Don't be surprised, guys, if Minnesota makes a trade for Kevin Durant this summer, and then suddenly you start seeing all these takes at the beginning of next year like, oh my God, KD is playing the best basketball he's played in 5 years. And it's like, is he? Or is it just that he's on a better team now? Like, Steph, you're getting a different version of Steph now because he believes in what the team can do and the team around him is better. LeBron is playing better than he did in December because he believes in what the team is doing and the team is better. Kevin Durant hasn't looked as good this year with Phoenix because the team sucks and he doesn't believe in what they're doing. Jokic is playing his worst defense of the season. You know why? Because their team doesn't really have a chance. He knows it. They all know it. They just fired their head coach and their GM. So like at a certain point, a lot of this stuff right now has to do with the surrounding circumstances. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if there's this whole take about Kevin Durant's renaissance in his career next year just because he gets traded to a better situation. And so moving back to like one of the earlier points in your question, where does Jokic place all time? It's so difficult for me to rank Jokic because of the fact that he's so just right at the start of really telling his story. I shouldn't say at the start, but he's right in the middle of telling his story. And, right now he has 1 championship, 1 finals MVP, 3 MVPs. So much of where he lands all time, because he's demonstrated the ceiling. Jokic has done something that very few players in NBA history have done. He's had a multi-year run of being the undisputed best player in the world. The only players recently that have done that is LeBron in like 2012, 2013. Even Kobe in the late 2010s, it was a debate. Is it Kobe or LeBron? Is it Kobe, in the early 2010s, was it Kobe, Shaq, or Tim Duncan? If you go back, there's all these debates surrounding those guys. It felt like lots of guys on the same tier. It's Jokic in these couple of years. It's LeBron in 2012, 2013. It's Michael Jordan back in the 90s. Like, there are very few examples of like this guy's just obviously better than everybody type of guy. Jokic has demonstrated that. That automatically stamps him in a certain way as it pertains to all-time discussions. I already think he's reached the highest level offensively that I've ever seen a player reach. So that is his feather in his cap. Now it's about accumulating the accolades. And that's where it just gets tough because, like, guys, like, it's crazy to think about. Like, imagine you Denver fans. Imagine how happy you were when Jokic hoisted the trophy. Imagine that feeling of euphoria that you felt. Now imagine doing it again, and then doing it again, and then doing it again. That's what Steph did. That's what LeBron did. Now imagine doing it again. That's what Magic Johnson did. That's what Kobe Bryant did. Now imagine doing it again. That's what Michael Jordan did. So the point being, like, in order to really gain ground, it's about the accumulation of accolades now. But Jokic's ceiling that he reached has already given him such a strong foundation for his all-time case. Why? Oh, this is so funny. Why is it that players act like why is it that players like LeBron and KD can basically average the same stats that they averaged 10 years ago, but can't have the same impact on winning that they did 10 years ago? Obviously, defense and athleticism is a big part of it, but why don't their stats take a hit? This is where I intended to unleash that take that I unleashed a second ago, which is basically that, like, to me, LeBron and KD are still every bit as good as at basketball as they've mostly been over the last 5 years. Same thing goes with Steph. And I think a lot of times we discount the obvious reality that basketball is a team sport and it's really difficult to win when you don't have good basketball players on your team. And what has happened with LeBron and Steph is they've gotten more good basketball players on their team. And now all of a sudden everyone's like, look at LeBron and Steph. They're resuscitated. And it's like, actually, they just believe and their team is better. And I firmly believe that we are going to get a complete just reopening of KD and where his status is in the league as a player once he gets moved to a better team this summer. Now, if he gets moved to another team and they continue to struggle, that's where it'll probably become a hard thing for him to overcome in the court of public opinion. Why is it that players like LeBron and KD can basically we just read that one. Since it was reported that there is a chance that Jamal Murray doesn't start the playoffs because of his hamstring, if the Nuggets have an early exit in the playoffs, do you think it'd be more valuable for the Nuggets to seek a Jamal Murray trade to improve the team instead of MPJ due to the fact that MPJ has been more available than Jamal over the last 5 years? We already hit that earlier in the show, so I won't go any deeper. But I think both of them should be on the table. I'd consider trading both of them for players that have more of a two-way type of impact because of the direction that I think this team needs to go. I don't think you can play Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. next to Jokic anymore. I think that ship has sailed. Last question. On the Rockets game with the Warriors, all game long, they were three-quarter clutching Steph, like both arms out around Steph, not just around his back for a total wraparound. The only place Steph could go was backwards to get out of the clutch. Isn't that a hold or something? I must be naive because they didn't call it all game long. Am I missing something? The game plan for dealing with Steph has been the same since the Cavs did it way back in 2015. Grab, hold, be physical, try to wear him down so that he doesn't have the legs to make his shots. Now, this is the smart strategy to deal with Steph because his one big weakness is that he's not a truly imposing athlete. And so that's the place where you can attack him most frequently. I don't think Warriors fans should complain about their officiating for several reasons. The biggest one is they're a team that is an extremely physical defense. I promise you, when I watch the Warriors, they're one of the most physical defenses that I watch. Draymond's hands are on everybody. Moses Moody's hand checking full court all game long. Pods is hitting people. Looney's hitting people. Jimmy's hitting people. That is an incredibly physical defense. Part of their identity is beating the shit out of people. Okay? Draymond literally beats the shit out of people every single game. That is their identity. That is why that dynamic of allowing physicality in the aggregate actually benefits Golden State. However, it's going to manifest in teams in terms of game plan being very physical with Steph. You just should get ready for that because it's exactly what happened last year or 2 years ago when they played in 2023 in the postseason. It even happened the year they won the title. It happened every single time Steph has played in the postseason. It's just kind of like part of the deal in terms of defensive game planning. Every guy has like a thing that they do to attack that person. How do you attack Jokic? You got to swarm him and double team him, keep all the coverages weird to try to keep him off balance, and you need to attack him in ball screens as much as possible by bringing him up to the level. How do you attack Luka? Ball pressure with big, strong wings. Probably better to blitz than to let him be on an island, right? How do you attack Giannis? Build a wall in transition. Try to make him beat you as a passer or as an over-the-top shot maker, right? Like, these are all, like, even Shea, the game plan is starting to come together. It's like, oh, Shea's not the best passer in the world. So if we overload on him and try to make him a surgical playmaker, he can have his limitations. LeBron over the year, it was he can't shoot or he's not a reliable, consistent shooter. Let's back off of him and dare him to shoot. That was the thing he had to overcome with the Spurs back in 2013, right? Like, every player has their thing they have to overcome. For Steph, it's physicality. For Steph, it's attacking him when he's on defense, and then when he's on offense, being as physical as possible to try to wear his legs down so that he can't make shots when he needs to make them. That's just how it is with all the stars in the league. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. As always, I sincerely appreciate you guys for supporting me and supporting the show. We'll be back tomorrow morning with game reactions to a bunch of good games that we have in today's slate. We also have more Michael Malone news, hopefully, that we can dig into at that point. As always, I sincerely appreciate you guys for supporting me and supporting the show. I'll see you tomorrow.